everyone, welcome back to Jikook Diaries channel. Ever since the announcement of Are You Sure 2 was released, the fandom has been buzzing with theories, speculation, and a never-ending heartbeat. But it wasn't just the trailer or teaser photos that left everyone breathless, but the inexplicable feeling that emanated from every word, every look, every moment, as if something much bigger was waiting to be revealed. Jikook fans who have followed their journey for years know one thing in common. Anything involving Jimin and Jungkook is never just a coincidence. There's always a story, always feelings, and always something that feels like a silent confession. The premiere of Are You Sure 2 hasn't even aired yet, but the atmosphere is already explosive. Jungkook and Jimin's words from short clips, photo captions, and behind-the-scenes footage are too emotional to ignore. Most surprising of all is one line that has become a global conversation. Just thinking about him. A simple sentence, yet it feels like a confession no longer wants to hide. Everyone is wondering, is this truly a coincidence? Or are Jimin and Jungkook finally letting the world see a little more of the relationship that only they have ever understood? Even though Jimin and Jungkook never publicly expressed what was going on in their hearts, the emotional connection between them was incredibly strong. In every interaction, both on camera and off-screen, there was something warm, tender, and sometimes too intense to be called a simple friendship. Fans who noticed the subtle expressions in their eyes that constantly sought each other out, the hands that naturally moved to touch, the way they laughed when the other spoke knew that the connection existed long before AYS 2, long before their debut, perhaps even since they first met in the practice room as young, dreamy trainees. What made Are You Sure 2 feel different from all the previous moments was how the two no longer tried to suppress that chemistry. There was a sense of relief. It was as if they no longer cared whether the world knew how close they were. When Jungkook said, "Just think about him," many believed it wasn't just a random comment, but a reflection of long-held feelings. And when Jimin smiled after hearing it, a meaningful, subtle, and slightly emotional smile, everyone felt something. As if it were the answer to a question that had never truly been finalized. It wasn't just fans who were getting emotional. Even people who were usually neutral began to notice. Many commented on how the vibe between them was different now. More mature, more grown up, more like two people who had finally reached a point in their lives where they understood what they needed most. And strangely, it was as if the world knew they needed each other most. Their relationship had always been imbued with emotional intimacy. From small moments like Jungkook instinctively pulling out Jimin's chair, to big moments like them hugging each other at a concert like they were home. But the line, "Just think about him," took everything to a whole new level. It was like a tiny window into their hearts, like a secret message that slipped out, like someone who had been holding something in for too long until they finally couldn't hold it in anymore. Fan theories began to emerge. Was this a hint that Are You Sure 2 would be more personal than the first season? Would they talk about relationships, not just journeys? Was this moment truly a confirmation? Or perhaps even bolder, a confession? There's a part of the fandom that's afraid to get their hopes up, but at the same time, the world knows that those feelings can't be faked. When Jimin looks at Jungkook, it's not the gaze of someone who just sees a friend. It's the gaze of someone who feels safe, who feels understood, and who feels loved on a level that words can't even describe. And when Jungkook listens to Jimin, he doesn't listen with his ears, he listens with his heart. Another moment that went viral was when Jimin said, "I just want her to be happy." It's a simple sentence, but its resonance is profound. Who is her? Why would Jimin say that right after Jungkook stated that he just wanted someone to think about someone else? It's no wonder fans went crazy. The narrative seemed to connect into one big puzzle. Some might say this is just fan service, but there's an emotional honesty in the way they interact. Fan service can be forced, but comfort can't. And Jimin and Jungkook exude a comfort that's truly it belongs to people who have shared years of pain, happiness, journeys, successes, failures, laughter, tears, and secrets. They grew together. They learned together. They struggled together. And in that process, love, whatever its form, found its place.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Your
you so much.
request, no?
너 이렇게 또 한 분을 너한테 빠지게 하는구나.
어.
In the trailer for the sequel to AYS2, there's a scene where the two sit silently, just staring at each other wordlessly. There's no script, no gimmicks, no dramatic music, just silence and a feeling so strong that the world seems to stop. What makes the scene so emotional isn't what they do, but what they don't. There's no touch, no verbal confession, but everyone can feel it. Sometimes love doesn't need words to be heard. If this is a confirmation, then it's the most tender confirmation ever. If this is a confession, then it's a confession that can only be made by two people who feel safe in each other's arms. Jimin and Jungkook don't need to shout anything for people to know their hearts are speaking. The first episode of Are You Sure 2 hasn't even aired yet, but the world is already in turmoil. Whatever happens next, one thing is certain. The connection between Jimin and Jungkook is at a level of emotional depth that not everyone can fathom. And if they ultimately choose to share some of that on camera, it won't be because they want to be sensationalized, but perhaps because they want to be remembered not as perfect idols, but as human beings who truly felt love. Just think about him. That phrase will linger in fans' minds for a long time. Not just because it came from Jungkook, but because the world knows who him is. And perhaps just maybe for the first time, they aren't trying to hide it. Whatever happens after this, one thing is certain. The love is real. Even if it's never spoken, it's present in their eyes, in their laughter, in their silences, and in all the little moments that were never meant to be analyzed but were too beautiful to ignore. Jikook isn't just a theory. Jikook is a feeling. And today, for the first time, the whole world feels it together. Thank you for watching until the end. And as always, our hearts are fluttering again for Jimin and Jungkook. No matter what happens in Are You Sure 2, one thing will never change. Their connection always feels so real and so deep. If you feel the same way, don't forget to leave a comment below. Tell me your theories, your favorite moments, or how you felt after watching this video. I'll read them all as always. Like if you support Jikook, subscribe to stay updated with the fastest and most comprehensive updates about them, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story because we all know something big is coming. Thank you for being a part of this channel family. See you in the next video. Stay safe, stay happy, and don't forget, just think about him. Sarangi Jikookers.